everything is geared towards making it easier for people to maintain independence, for seniors to maintain independence.
Hi, I'm Agnes Stawicki, Managing Editor with Comfort Life. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading retirement communities and care providers to uncover insights to community lifestyle, care, culture, and leadership. This includes insights from residents, family members, and administration. This is the Comfort Life Insider Perspective.
We really like the fact that there's so much to do. There's so many activities for him to be involved in, and he's totally embraced that. He's become part of the residents council, the vice chair, I think. He's joined bocce ball. He's joined shuffleboard. He's joined whenever there are outings. He's always signing up to do outings. He's helped cook things anytime they have special activities, like with any holiday, any special occasion. That they're always running different events. He's right in there helping build the gingerbread houses, do the casino night, the Christmas stuff. He actually started a carving class for other residents. So on Sundays there's a volunteer comes in and helps him, and they do some carving and painting with other residents. He does the aquafit classes. He does there's an acrylic paint class that he was taking. Anytime there's bingo, he always tells me how many chocolate bars he's won. There's so much that they can be involved with if they choose to be. Then there's often there's entertainment. There are guest speakers come in to entertain them. There's movie nights. There's always different things to do, and he's always been very active, and that keeps him very involved in things. Oh, the staff are great. It seems like they're always available if there are any issues. There's always somebody to contact. There's maintenance staff. There's kitchen staff. There's the front desk staff, the concierge staff. There's the management, the volunteers, the healthcare floor. There are. We had to wait today because he was getting his toenails done. He wouldn't get any color, but he was getting his toenails done. Yeah, clear coat. There's a doctor associated with it, so he was able to transfer his medical information here, so that he's being seen by the staff doctor now, and everybody's so welcoming. Everybody's always so interested. They're always on the go. It's hard to keep track of how many staff there are because he's always dropping names of people, and some of them are volunteers, some of them are servers in the dining room, some of them are prepare the food, some of them are the maintenance people. Some are family members of other residents, and so it gets very hard to keep track of who all the staff are because they're always so involved.
Can you tell us a little bit about the building and some of the facilities and amenities?
Yeah, well, honestly, it's all from and anybody could check it out just online, I would assume, because I haven't been able to do the grand tour because he moved in during COVID. So and there were times when we weren't even allowed to come into the building. And then there were some outdoor visits allowed at certain points when the weather got nicer, but still not indoor. And it's still very limited as far as like basically I will come upstairs to his suite but what I can see, the dining room is quite large and it's well laid out. There's the lobby where the concierge desk is. There's a little bar area, and then there's games rooms in that area. I saw a puzzle when somebody was working on a large puzzle. I know he's talked about a pool table somewhere. There's a swimming pool. There's a theater downstairs I haven't seen, but I hear it can accommodate quite a few, although more limited during COVID, of course. But there's outside, there's a large seating area, covered seating area outside where they can have meals at times, but there's also little walkway paths and there's the bocce ball court is out there, and they moved the shuffleboard court from the inside to the outside for the summer. There's a big center area that he happens to be on the back side on the 6th floor, so he has a beautiful view of he can see Lake Ontario in the distance and the windmills on Wolf Island and so he has a beautiful view, but just looking down in this side, the parking lot is back here, but in the walkway, there's a big center circle, and I know often they have daily exercises that they run from the circle, so everybody gets out on their balconies and they're running them from there. For when there are empty suites available on this side, they've had guests, residents that are on the other side can access the balconies so that they can be involved in that as well. The same place, they often have entertainment and musicians or different people. They have a piano that they can roll out to that area, and I know they've done some of the activities. There was, I think maybe it was their 1-year anniversary last year. There were a bunch of hay bales and like they had everything's themed. They've had Mardi Gras night. They've had Canada Day stuff on Remembrance Day. They had Dad used to be with the OPP, and so they had him put on his dress uniform and read the names of any of the veterans that any of the residents who are veterans.
Cool.
Because last Remembrance Day again was during COVID lockdown, so they couldn't do a ceremony, a gathered ceremony. But he's got the 1-bedroom suite. So he's on the 6th floor, as I said. So there's a balcony for every suite. So the door's on that side and the balcony's on that side. There's a little kitchenette area. It has a little, decent sized fridge and a little microwave. He's got a little coffee maker and tea kettle, little sink, and enough cupboards for him to put a little bit of food and some dishes. And there's a bathroom with fully handicap accessible, so a little lip, but there's a bench so that they can, it's a shower, not a bath, but I think I heard that there is a place that they can sort of book a bath if they choose. And then there's his bedroom. It has a nice big walk-in closet that's filled to the brim with stuff. He has a lot of stuff. And it's a good sized bedroom with a nice full window, probably, well, the whole wall is window. They all come with blinds already installed so that they can lower them, raise them at to darken as much as they need to. And And there's also in his suite, there's actually another room that is plumbed for washer dryer. Now he just uses it as an extra storage closet because the washing facilities are right down the hall and they're all free to use for the residents. So he'd rather have the extra space. My understanding is there are storage lockers that people can rent on site if they don't want to have everything in their unit, or if they have some things that don't fit in their unit. Companionship. He's always been very outgoing, very active in his community. He was in the country, as I said, and was always very involved, but you have to drive everywhere. Here, he just has to open the door or pick up the phone, go down the elevator, and there's people. There are always people about, so I think the and food. I mean, it's like restaurant style meals. He'll tell us every day, well, this is what I had for supper, and these were the options, and these were and lunch and everything else. So you just you don't have to worry about their nutrition. Living on your own, it's I think you start to rely on sort of ready-made meals, or maybe leftovers, or you just don't feel like cooking for one person, and so you know that he's getting well-balanced meals. There's exercise. He's able to, he walks with a cane, but he's fully ambulatory. But it's just, if he uses a cane, or if eventually he needs a walker, someone needs a walker, everything is very level, very accessible, but there's so many places that they can still walk that are on level ground, so that they can still get exercise. There is a pool that has aquafit classes, but also just swimming with a whirlpool attached. So there's just, it's just kind of the whole package. Probably more exercise, because as I just said, it's easier to do things. He's always been involved, but he always had to go out of the house to be involved in things. Here, he just has to go downstairs to be involved. It's I mean, they call it the Kingsbridge community, and it really is community. What he enjoys the most. Often he says he wishes more people will get involved because there's so many things. My sister-in-law's parents happened to move in a few days before my dad, and so when you check out the Facebook page, the Kingsbridge page, as you're scrolling through, it's like, oh, there they are, oh, there's dad, oh, there they are, oh, there's dad. Like they're in so many pictures because they're all so involved. It's just knowing that there's somebody looking out for him. Like we speak every day, but like, I mean, when he gets up in the morning, there's a button to push to just let everybody know that he's awake and alert and he's okay. And there's the concierge staff. There's everybody on staff seems to know him, and so you know that there are people looking out for him. If he was still in his own home, well, first, there wouldn't be so many things to do. He is still able to drive, but there's also the Kingsbridge bus available to take them places so that he doesn't have to drive everywhere. If he was still living in his own home, he'd be up and down the stairs. There'd be, he'd have to be preparing his own meals. All kinds of things that just make it a little bit harder to manage on your own as you get older. Once my mom passed away, there's no companionship. He was out in the country, so even more isolated. And then with COVID, even more isolated. He actually moved in during COVID. And so he had to isolate for 2 weeks in his unit. But even then, there were constantly people popping in from the staff to check in on him, help him if there were any problems. They gave him a little bicycle thing to exercise their legs since they had to stay in their unit. There were daily Zoom things, events that he could join in on. So just the fact that there's so much to do. I'd say that's the highlight for sure. Everything is geared towards making it easier for people to maintain independence, for seniors to maintain independence. Not even just seniors. I know that there are some younger people actually. There's just enough support here that they're able to get that comfort, get that love, that caring from the staff. Very much so. We just actually moved back to the area. We were living up in in Whitby. And so it just, it was getting harder and harder for my one brother and myself to keep tabs on Dad, keep like making sure that everything was going okay. Like you're always concerned that if there's going to be a fall, is this going to be the fall that puts them into a nursing home? Here, you feel more confident that if you're not available to help them, there are people here to help them. Taking a lot of stress off, relieved a lot of the stress, I guess. He moved out of a house that he built in 1962 last year. So yeah, so he lived in that house for so many years. So there was a lot of stuff. So there was a lot of work involved just getting the house ready to sell. Just everything that I've said. It's very they're very caring, they're very involved, they're looking out for your loved ones. If you're not around to do it, you know that there are people here that will do that for you. And it gets harder and harder the farther away families are. It just becomes more and more difficult to care for your parents, your family members in their own homes when you have your own lives, your own homes. So it's just nice to know that there are people here that will provide that support for them. They're the family when the family can't be here, I guess. I guess, like I said, it's more you want to get them somewhere that they feel welcome, somewhere that they can choose, somewhere that provides the support. When I think of some relatives who don't want to leave their own home, I worry that they're going to, when they do leave their home, it's going to be because they have to, because of the fall, that then they can't go back to their home. And so then it'll be from their house to a nursing home. Whereas here, they still have that quality of life, that independence, that the ability to live life on their own terms without being forced into assisted living. So I would encourage family members and seniors or people who just, when it's too hard to live on your own, when it becomes too much of a burden for you and your family, when everything you're doing just takes too much effort to live in your own home, preparing meals. There's housekeeping services. Every Monday they come in, they change his beds, they clean the room. So they prepare all the meals. So when all of that becomes too much for you to do on a daily basis, when it takes too much of your energy so that you don't have any energy to do the other things, when there are no other people in your home that you can talk to, then you've got someplace like this that gives that sort of that support, that stop in between if you eventually end up needing to go into a nursing home. There is a nursing floor here for residents that require more care. So like even that, it's not the transition, even if you had to go into a higher need, more assisted living facility, at least you can transition more easily from here than from your own home, because you're already part of the community, and it's just sort of one other step to providing that support, I guess. The location's really good. It's very handy to there's a Shoppers Drug Mart and a Tim Hortons and a Farm Boy grocery store right in the little traffic circle connected to it, and other services. There's a Costco just across the road if they not that they need any food or anything, but if they're looking for stuff, it's really it's very handy. There's it's the location. There's big box store outlet malls, but there's also an inside mall if people wanted to be mall walking, very within just a few minutes of here. So there's all kind. It's really the location. It's at the top end of Kingston. So as I said, we live out in the country, so it's very easy to access the outside of Kingston, but it's also very easy to get to the hospitals, to the train station, to just the facilities, what they had available, what they were able to the meals, the check-in services, they also, like I said, there's a button they push just to say, hey, we're here, we're awake, we're doing okay. But there's also a button if that they have if in case of falls or anything like that. So you know that they're monitored, but not so much that they don't have a sense of like privacy. Like this is still very much his unit, his suite. It's still his home, but just outside that door, it's very easy to then access everything else. A lot of downsizing. there was a lot of stuff. He was a collector for sure. And it was a large home with a large workshop. And so just having to go through a lot of the memories, the items, figure out where things were going, who was going to get things, what was coming with him. But once knowing what the size was, we did a little floor plan. And then we figured out what things he really wanted to bring with him. And even more than but things that he couldn't decide. So we made a little floor plan. We placed the items to make sure that everything we thought could fit would fit. It was tight, but then once he was here, it was easier to go, okay, well, now what do you think? Like, do you really want all these chairs here? Okay, maybe now we'll scale down a little bit more. The 2-week isolation, he was able to go through a lot of the things that you kind of eventually were just throwing into the box at the end, and take the time to go, okay, do I need this? he had all kinds of files from years and years of everything. And so every few days I'd get a report. Okay, well, I went through and I shredded some more things. So it sort of helped with the scaling down once he got here. Oh, definitely. Yeah. When we came, they connected us with movers, and who had the whole COVID protocol down, and so then they came to the house and were able to help us pack up the last stuff that was coming in, help us understand what things he might need here or what might not be needed. When we got here, there was a little cheese tray and a little some beer, I think, for him. They asked him, "What's your favorite beverage?" And he named his brand. And then in that 2-week isolation, every day he'd get a little snack with another beer. That was he appreciated that. And like I say, in some ways, COVID helped meeting the staff, because while he was isolated, each day different members of the staff would come to introduce themselves, but then help with like setting up the TV, help with like bringing the meals. They'd introduce themselves. If there was nursing things that needed to be done, or COVID tests, or the nursing staff passed through. So it in some ways it made it nicer than coming when everything was open and you have to kind of wander around meeting people. They have a greeting committee, a welcome committee that of course he's now part of, that meets new residents, tours them around, introduces them, sits with them at meals initially to kind of get things going, make sure that they understand things, check in on things, check in on people. So it's not just like when you move into a new apartment and you're on your own. You're moving, like I said, Kingsbridge community, you're moving into a community, and the community welcomes you. The community is very involved with making you feel welcome and answering any questions you have. I'm not sure. I probably would have done it when Mom was still alive, because that was probably the hardest. She'd enjoy this very much.
For more information about this community, you can visit their profile at comfortlife.ca.